Devin Dutson. I am a mental health therapist, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about the topic of breakups and limited mindset. So, one of the things that I've noticed when it comes to people who have been in long-term relationships, or even sometimes somewhat short-term relationships, breakups can obviously be one of the most difficult things to try to deal with. There's a lot of heavy emotion. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of grief and loss type of issues. There's a lot of feeling rejected, feeling abandoned, a lot of depression, sometimes anger, confusion, things of that nature. And so those are the emotional side of things that needs to be processed in the therapy sessions. But when it comes to breakups, there's a big component that I've been able to identify as well, which is the way that people think about themselves and their limited beliefs when it comes to their future in relation to the breakup. So, for example, I'll get people that'll have a breakup, they'll be devastated by it, and then as I get talking to them about it, it becomes clear that they don't feel like their life is set up in a way to where their future or their current life and slash future is meaningful or is set up in a way where it is fulfilling in any way. And so it might be fulfilling in some ways, but they don't feel fulfilled enough without that person to be able to psychologically move forward in their life. So the limited mindset is basically, I don't think that I can move forward mentally or psychologically without this person in my life, and so therefore this breakup is the end of my world. And so it almost becomes, with certain relationships, it becomes part of your identity. And if it becomes part of your identity, that's scary. You don't want your relationship to be your identity. You want to be your individual self, autonomous, but then this other person that's in your life is supposed to help kind of fill in the gaps that fit you, and you're able to then progress and move forward. But with a lot of people, again, that I see, that they just kind of feel like their life isn't fulfilled enough for them to be able to move on. Now, if it's something that's out of their control, if they're the ones that are being broken up with, then it's something to where it's even more difficult, because they're forced to try to live a fulfilling life, or at least begin the process of having a fulfilled life to fall back on so that they can then move forward. And so the educational part of this video is for you to be able to understand and identify that if you are the one that either did the breaking up or got broken up with, that you need to make sure that your mindset isn't limited to the point where you believe that your future now is pretty much over because this other person isn't in your life, because that person was part of your identity, or it was just such a big part of your life that moving on, there's nothing in your mind fulfilling about life. So set your life up in a way, and this seems obvious, but it's not to a lot of people, and you'd be surprised how many people just kind of go, I'm staying in this relationship because I don't really see a fulfilling life outside of it. And so make sure that you're the kind of person that understands that by living a fulfilling life already, and if you don't know what that is, obviously you need to identify what that looks like. What does it look like to live a fulfilling life without this other person in your life? And that takes a lot of introspective work. You gotta, or come talk to a therapist, whatever, families, friends, but still it's something that you need to identify what that looks like. And I think a lot of people don't spend enough time trying to identify what that looks like. What does it look like to have a fulfilling life? And if they can't identify that, if you're not able to identify that, that's step one. What does my future look like without this other person in my life, and how can it still be fulfilling? again, a lot of people will stay in relationships because they gain something from it, and then they don't see themselves in a particular way outside of it, which is just a limited belief. It's not a belief in yourself. It's not empowering. It's not something that you feel like you are capable of doing for a lot of people. And so that in and of itself, I'm going to do some other videos about limited belief systems, but I think that in and of itself is something that could be a whole nother set of videos. It's just the idea of just having limited beliefs in yourself and in producing your ideal and fulfilling life. Once you're able to do that, you will feel way more empowered to be able to have a breakup, or if a breakup happens to you, whatever, then you're able to move on and it's not so life altering. Anyways, if you have any questions about what I've been talking about, leave a comment and I'll try to get back to it when I can. Thanks. Bye.